You're such a good little Steam Deck. Yes, you are, and I love you so much. Yes, you are. You support 5,000 games on the Steam library now. Yes, probably a lot more. I know, it's only 10% of the entire library, but hey, it's a good little Steam Deck. I love you. I love you so much. Guys, to another video on Blaze2K. Please drop a like down below. It really helps out. Hit the subscribe, click the bell icon if you love Steam Deck, love tech, love gaming, love everything pop culture. So, anyways, yes, as you heard in my silly little intro there with the Steam Deck. I'm sorry. Please like. Anyways, yeah. So, yeah, Valve has now certified 5,000 games as Steam Deck compatible. Now, yeah, that's less than 10% of all the games on Steam, but still more than you could probably play in a lifetime. So that's pretty damn good. Now, there is over 50,000 games in the Steam library as of right now. And that's not to say only 5,000 games of the 50,000 will work. That just means they've went through and verified or certified at least 5,000 games and basically said this game works on the Steam Deck in one way or the other. So let's get into the article. So this article comes courtesy of Engadget. Valve wants to help Steam Deck owners and folks interested in picking up the Steam Deck or picking up the device easily find out what games can actually run on it. Through the verification program, it hopes to let people see at a glance whether a game is compatible. Although it will be a long process to test every game, assuming it goes that far. Valve has just passed an important milestone. The company is now certified 5,000 games as verified or playable on Steam Deck. If Valve slaps a verified label on a game, the Steam Deck should be able to handle it with few, if any, issues. Should Valve determine that a title is playable, it will work, but there might be a few caveats or niggling issues. On the other hand, Valve has listed nearly 2,000 games as unsupported, according to Steam B, meaning they probably or definitely won't work on Steam Deck. So basically, that's pretty good, right? They've went through 5,000 games and basically, or 7,000 games and verified if they work or not. And now 5,000 of those 7,000 work, 2,000 don't, but that's pretty damn good. They're going through the entire 50,000 game catalog of the Steam pretty fast, right? And as you know, Valve is ramping up production of the Steam Deck. More people are getting their hands on the Steam Deck, and I'm sure that number is going to go up faster and faster, and we're going to get more games certified to run and play on the Steam Deck. Now, you might be like, why doesn't the Steam Deck support every game? Well, because it runs Linux. It runs something called SteamOS, which is basically Valve's custom overlay on top of Linux. And as you know, most games are designed to run on Windows, right? But they've got a card up their sleeve. They use something called Proton, which is a compatibility layer, not emulation, a compatibility layer, which basically runs on top of Linux and basically converts Windows games onto Linux. Now, they've done an amazing job of this. Let me tell you, like games run better on Linux using their compatibility layer Proton than they do on Windows, which is crazy. So, without the doubt, SteamOS is still the de facto place, the best place to play your Steam games, if you can. Now, not all games work on SteamOS, because a lot of games have big anti-cheat software, anti-cheat systems, like Call of Duty Warzone, one of my favorite games. And developers are hesitant to support Linux on their games because, well, their anti-cheat was designed for Windows. They don't want Linux players hacking and accessing all these tools and stuff like that, you know, most people can't access on Windows. So I understand that. But I really hope Valve makes an effort, a big effort in making sure the Steam Deck supports Windows the best it can. Now, I believe they're working on a tool to allow you to dual boot between Windows and SteamOS at some point. They're allegedly working on a tool to make that as seamless as possible. So you can install Windows and then maybe, you know, play games on SteamOS and then maybe shut down, restart into Windows and then play games that you can't play on SteamOS. That would be ideal, and I really hope Valve, if you're listening, please, I know you don't want us to play Windows on this thing. I know you don't. I know you want us to play on SteamOS, buy stuff through Steam, etc., etc. But as you said when you announced this device, this is our device to do what we want on it, right? I just hope that you put the time and effort into allowing us to install Windows on this thing. We know Windows runs well on handhelds like these. Look at the Ioneo, look at the Loki, right? There's a lot of great handheld Windows computers, and right now, installing Windows on this is really just really janky. It doesn't support touchpads. You have to really tinker with it to get it to support the Steam Deck. they should just, Valve just needs to make it easier, right? I should be able to, I mean, you can install up to 4 terabytes of data storage on this thing. You can install a 2 terabyte internal SSD, 2 terabyte micro SD, boom, you've got 4 terabytes of storage. That's more than enough to dual boot between Windows and SteamOS and install, the games you want on Windows, maybe emulation stuff, and obviously switch back to SteamOS to play games that run on SteamOS and that would raise the value of this thing massively, I think. And they need to really support this the best they can. They need to put out drivers for everything, make everything as seamless as possible, and just optimize it for Windows as well as SteamOS, because that's what we want. That's what we want as gamers. Not everyone wants Windows, but having the option would be nice, and having it run pretty smoothly would also be nice. So anyways, yeah, Steam Deck supports it is at least certified to work with 5,000 games now, or 5,000 games are certified to run on the Steam Deck, which is great news. They've got a long way to go, but that doesn't mean that they're never going to work on Steam Deck. Another thing that I want to know is that even though they've certified 5,000 games to work on Steam Deck, that doesn't mean the number isn't like 40,000. That doesn't mean 30 to 40,000 games don't work on the Steam Deck. It just means that they've only tested 5,000 games to work. So there's a long way to go to check all of them, since they're well north of 50,000 titles on the platform now, of course. Nope. There we go. It's worth noting that many of the games currently labeled as unknown work just fine on Steam Deck, even without a verified or playable label, so playable stickers. So if you notice on the store, let's say there's a game that you're kind of interested in buying or picking up to play specifically on the Steam Deck, and you look at the store page and it says unknown. Is it compatible with the Steam Deck? Unknown ? That just means they haven't got around to testing that game specifically. But now if you Google that game on Google, chances are someone else has downloaded that game, tested it on the Steam Deck, and can confirm, whether it be Reddit post or God knows where, on the Steam forums, that the game does actually work. Now, will it work perfectly? It might. More than likely it will work perfectly. And in some cases it might need a couple of little tweaks and stuff to get it running the best it can. But like I said, just because a game says unknown, most of them say unknown right now, it doesn't mean it doesn't work. Chances are it works just fine. They just haven't got around to testing it. So, just to note, a lot more than 5,000 games work on the Steam Deck right now. They've only got around to like testing 7,000 of them. And so yeah. So here's their tweet. They said, "Oh, hey, another big milestone, guys. We just passed 5,000 tested, verified playable titles on the Steam Deck. Plenty more to go. So many games on Steam, but just wanted to take a moment to celebrate." And they posted this interesting little picture here. What does it mean? What does it mean? Does it mean... I'm a conspiracy theorist. I love conspiracies. Imagine if this is like the inside of the Steam Deck 2. The Steam Deck 2.0. And it's got RGB lighting, and they've taken a sneaky little photo of it. Now, everyone's just like, oh, that's kind of cool. I don't know what that is. It looks like a bunch of LED diodes. That's pretty cool. Okay, whatever, Congrats, 5,000 games work on the Steam Deck now. But Valve, I'm watching you. Is this a little sneaky hint? Is this a little sneak peek at RGB Steam Deck 2.0? Could be. No, I'm just telling you, it could be, but, companies like Valve are sneaky like this, that could be something they're working on. RGB Steam Deck, RGB on the back with the Steam Deck logo. How sick would that be? So yeah, there we go. A lot of people are like, around half the games I've tried labeled unsupported work perfectly. So yeah, more than likely, way more than 5,000 work, but they've only got around to testing 5,000. Like Daniel Moore says here, half the games he's tried labeled unsupported work perfectly. And someone's like, oh, my deck's coming tomorrow. So that's another thing. They've ramped up production massively. So even if let's say you put in a pre-order like sometime this year, chances are you'll probably get it before the end of the year. You'll get it before Christmas. Yes. So that's good to know. So now that production is ramping up, moving smoothly, chances are we're going to be starting to hear some rumors swirling around for Steam Deck 2.0, which is kind of interesting, right? So I'll keep you on top of that if there is anything new. But yeah, great news. The more games, the better, right? And as I said, if they support Windows, that would be... If they natively bake in Windows dual booting support, that would be the icing on the cake for me. Valve uses 4 criteria to check the Steam Deck compatibility. It assesses whether a game has controller support. That's number uno, like the most important thing, right? Because the Steam Deck doesn't have a mouse and keyboard. Well, it has the touchpads, but it's primarily meant to use controllers. So they do check with, for the compatibility checks, they do make sure it has controller support and on-screen keyboard when needed, or any compatibility warnings. It also looks for support for the screen's native 1280 by 800 resolution, and if the game has any issues with Proton compatibility layer, Valve employs to run Windows games. Now, there's a vast library of games that will work on the Steam Deck, more than most people can possibly play in a lifetime. You might have a shot at getting through them if you can tear yourself away from the Vampire Survivors for long enough. Not played that game, or have I? I might have played it, I'm not sure. This should come as more good news for those waiting on a Steam Deck delivery after Valve ramped up production in the last few months. If you reserve one now, you should still be able to get a Steam Deck by the end of the year. So get reserving your Steam Deck. So yeah, that's pretty good. That's really good. And also, so let me know down below. Is there any games that don't work on your Steam Deck right now? Is there any games you want to see work on the Steam Deck? And like I says, is there any games that you're hesitant to play on the Steam Deck because it says unsupported? Let me know in the comments. Oh, I love my Steam Deck so much. It's steamy when you've got a Steam Deck. That steamy love. Anyways, guys, there you go. 5,000 games certified to play. And if you want to see, if you want a more in-depth look as to, what games work, I totally recommend you check out a website called ProtonDB or SteamDB. I'll go to it here. So SteamDB basically allows you to filter games and see if it's got a verified, certified label on it. Like a lot of these games do. You can actually, make sure, you can go to platforms, go to Steam Deck verified and see basically which ones are verified, etc. And you can also search ProtonDB, which is their compatibility layer, which I'll show you right now, protondb.com. ProtonDB. This is basically the software that allows these games to work on SteamOS, and as you can see, 5,000 verified or playable. Pretty damn good. And you can actually go around and search games. So let's say Hades. Boom. Platinum rating. So it runs perfectly out of the box. So you literally have to do nothing to have this game work good. And plus people comment if there's an comment on whether there's any issues with any specific version of Proton. So like I said, ProtonDB is a great place to go check. If you want to dive into the weeds and find out what games work and which games might have a few issues. Yeah, so there we go. So let me know in the comments what games you have in your Steam Deck, what games you're playing, what games don't work, etc., etc. And I'll see you guys in the next steamy Steam Deck video. Blaze2K signing out. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.